For every direct support professional job vacancy, your agency is burning through money, and your existing staff are moving closer and closer to burnout. Chances are your hiring system is not completely broken, but there are some easy to fix holes if and only if you know exactly where to look. Hello, difference maker, and welcome to IDD Leader, the podcast that's all about helping human service organizations retain and grow their workforce using behavioral science. I am your host, Nate Beers. Let's dive in. Today, we're talking about recruiting, and more specifically, how to make it easy for the right people to say yes to your DSP jobs. We'll do that by talking about how to reduce the friction, to stop the ghosting, and to cut out any confusing parts of the process. If you've ever wondered, where did all the good people go? Or how come we see them at first and then they disappear before they make it to day one? Then this episode is for you. Let's imagine you're in back pain and you visited two different chiropractors. Both promised pain relief, both had decent Google reviews, and both apparently wanted to realign more than just your spine. They wanted to test your emotional endurance. Visit number one felt like a trap. No signage, just a door labeled Suite 4B in a stale hallway that smelled musty. The receptionist didn't look up. She handed you a clipboard and asked for 6 generations of family medical history. You had to go on Ancestry.com just to finish the paperwork. There were no reminder texts, no context to your visit. You didn't know the price, the process, or if you'd accidentally even joined a cult. Now contrast that to visit number 2. Visit number 2 felt like walking into a wellness retreat designed by Beyoncé's assistant. There was clear signage. The front desk person smiled with her whole face and welcomed you by your name. You got 2 friendly reminder texts before the visit, and they actually felt kind of warm and personal. They offered a monthly membership that was so easy to say yes to, you signed up before you knew what they actually do. And just as you were leaving, oh hey, here's a discount to the massage place across the street. Our treat. You floated the whole drive home. These 2 visits were in the same city, the same profession. One made it easy to say yes. The other made you feel worse than before you showed up. Cringe Corner. Let's talk about some real-life hiring horror stories. The Suite 4B of DSP recruiting. We had 30 applicants. We scheduled 12 interviews, and 2 of them showed up. And neither one of those people made it to their first day. People say they're interested, but they don't finish the application because our HWare software wants, well, a cover letter, a full work history, their credit score. We wait 2 to 3 weeks until we've received their clearances before we contact them again, and by then many of them have vanished. Oh man, these are not signs of lazy or unserious applicants. These are signs that your hiring funnel has friction, and that friction pushes the exact people you want to keep further and further away from you. Imagine if chiropractor number 2 made you solve a riddle to find the door, then asked for your grandma's gallbladder history just before they let you schedule the appointment. You'd never even make it there in the first place. The same thing happens to your DSP candidates. Behavior science breakdown. Here's the principal difference maker. The right behaviors need reinforcement all along the way throughout the hiring funnel. Applying is a behavior. Even looking in the first place is a behavior. Then scheduling an interview is a behavior. Showing up for the interview is a behavior. Saying yes and going to get their clearances is, of course, yes, it's behavior. And showing up to that first day, you guessed it, that's behavior. You can't just reinforce one time. You need to have a cascade of signals that keep telling them things like, we see you, we value you, you're in the right place. Keep coming closer. Keep showing up. These kinds of things. So let's break it down by stage, though. Number 1, the job posting. You want to make that feel like the VIP chiropractor. Is it easy to read? Does it sound human and clear? And you've hopefully avoided all those boring cliches that are in so many job postings. Could someone scan it on their phone and feel excited? For example, instead of saying competitive compensation and meaningful work, Replace that with actual numbers of the compensation and one sentence from a real DSP. Take their quote. You want to make it feel as welcoming and warm as possible. Not in a way that hides the difficult parts of the job, but just in a way that it sounds like a person is welcoming them already into your agency. Now, when it comes to the application, you want to remove the clipboard of doom. Can your application be completed in under 10 minutes? Are you asking for 6 things when you only need 2? Now, I understand if someone is going to actually get hired, they may need to fill out a more detailed and thorough everything from your HR department. However, what's the least amount that they can fill out to viably consider them as a candidate and to make the application as seamless and frictionless as possible? Here's something you can do. You can test it yourself or have a friend do it. If they're cussing under their breath or they're asking, why do you need this? Then you definitely want to cut those types of items out of it. Now, let's talk for a minute about the interview process. You want to reinforce the yes to showing up, and then you should make them feel glad that they did show up. So a couple ways to do this. You can send a reminder with their name and a warm tone, not some kind of very generic, your appointment is scheduled. But instead you could say something more like, hi Sam, just a quick reminder, we're excited to connect with you on Thursday. Here's a little bit about what to expect. And then in that, you can actually bait them just a little bit in a good way. This is not a bad thing. All the big companies are probably doing this so that you buy from them as a consumer, because this is very similar to the concept of a sales funnel. But here's what you can do as far as what to expect. You can add in a micro perk. It could be a $5 or $10 gas card or coffee shop gift card, or it could be some kind of quick intro video from your future coworker saying, can't wait to meet you. You, at that point, have their email address and their phone number. You can send them a couple things. That will not be creepy. It will be welcoming, as long as, again, test it out. Make sure someone who's unfamiliar with their process tries it out. And if they like it, chances are it's working well. But when that lack of hearing from you makes it so much more likely that they never even show up to the interview. From a behavior science standpoint, when people feel seen and slightly rewarded, they're more likely to follow through or to keep engaging in the behaviors. You're trying to create this experience for them throughout the hiring process. And of course, you want to weed out the ones that aren't going to be a good fit, but not because your process wasn't warm and welcoming. That should happen through the actual interview questions or the actual background check. Okay, and now here's a really crucial spot as well, where a lot of people are seeing way too many candidates fall through. And that is after the job offer. You know, what you don't want is something like, congrats, you're hired. Please read these 47 pages of onboarding documents and figure out when you'd like to start. Yikes. Or the example from Cringe Corner, where they don't hear from you for 2 to 3 weeks while you're waiting on their clearances. Every couple days, keep communicating with them. Some of this can get set up automatically, in an automated way. That's what I was trying to say, through different email software. But keep communicating with them. Have a clear, let them know where they're at in the process, over and over and over again. And then along the way, send them a celebration message. You could even assign them a buddy, someone who will be, say, their future mentor when they show up, a peer mentor, and have that person reach out to them. Again, you're providing reinforcement and you're creating this positive experience. When ghosting happens after the offer, it's because often people lose momentum or they feel like they're just a number, or maybe someone else's process was better than yours. Again, the bottom line when it comes to this behavior science principle is you want to think about how can we make the whole process as rewarding and exciting and just this great experience from start to finish. It should almost feel like, not that they're going to accidentally get hired, but in a sense that the effort shouldn't be in the process of getting hired. By all means, ask them the hard questions during the interview, but don't have them not show up to the interview because your application process was too hard or because simply it was scheduled a week ahead of time and then they never heard from you again. Yeah, you want to only have people dropping out for the right reasons, not because the process itself wasn't strong enough. Scripted! What you don't want yourself or anyone in your agency saying is, if they really wanted to work, they'd show up. What that translates into is something along the lines of, I don't understand behavioral friction, and I'm weirdly proud of it. No, what you do want to say is, how can we make each step so clear and so rewarding that only the wrong people drop off? You're also, by the way, setting the expectations of what kind of a workplace you're going to be once they do show up. Is it one that's clear, that helps guide people to be successful or not? Okay, next one. What you don't want to say is, they need to prove they're serious. That translates into, I want people to read my mind and pass arbitrary tests. No. Instead, what you do want to say is, we make it easy for the right people to say yes. And if they're not a fit, the funnel will take care of that. Again, have the interview have some hard questions. Really look at their background. Make sure that they seem like a good fit, by all means. But not because the funnel itself is not clearly laid out or doesn't guide people to the next step. You want to be the one making that decision on the candidates that aren't a good fit. And sure, if it's because they can make the decision too, but not because of your process. If it's because they realize that they actually don't want to be that involved in helping people, they just want to do a job that's just a job that doesn't take any heart, well, yeah, those people should weed themselves out, or you should weed them out. But again, not because the process was difficult or unclear. Action moves. Do you want to fix your recruiting funnel this week? Here's a few places you can start. Number one, you can start by auditing your own process. Apply to your own job. I mean, the DSP job at your organization. Try scheduling an interview. Or if you think it wouldn't offend people too badly, do it under a pseudonym, or have a friend do it under a pseudonym. Find where the friction points are. The data might already be telling you if you're collecting it and looking at where people are dropping off on the journey, but try it yourself to experience it. It's amazing the things you'll learn if you try that. A second idea would be to pick one step to reinforce and to add some more rewarding experience to. You could add a warm reminder or a thank you text or a small perk for showing up. And check out the before and after data. You want to look at, before you had that perk, how many people showed up to the interview. After you add that perk, how many people show up to the interview. If the number is moving in the right direction, then it's working. If it's not moving at all, then consider trying a different perk. If you're tracking the data, it will tell you what you need to do, which is a really cool thing. And I think I forgot to mention that earlier. Number three, make it ridiculously clear what happens next. People won't ghost you when they know where they're going and why it matters. So tell them where they're going, why it matters. Make it especially clear post-interview and post-job offer when someone's waiting on clearances. That is like the least necessary time to lose anybody. Any good candidate, there's no reason to lose them there. Yes, you can't control how long it takes for the clearances to come back, but what you can control is how much you're communicating with them. Even having some of your leaders or staff members take a couple quick selfie videos that you have a little bank of, and just send them a video or two here and there twice a week, letting them know that you're excited for them to join soon. This is what they can expect. This is what it's like. Anything along those lines goes such a long way. So if you do that, I really believe you'll see a significant drop in your ghosting. Now, I want to share one more thing, and that is, we already know we don't do this work for the money. But here's the thing, neither do your best DSPs. They're not looking for perfection, but what they are looking for is clarity, warmth, and a path that they can trust. Remember how you were limping into that chiropractor's office, hoping someone would make it easy for you to say yes? Well, that's the kind of thing you get to do right now. Go and build the kind of hiring journey that makes great people want to come back for more. And once they're hired, you want them to stick around. I have a resource for you on that. It is a free PDF that describes 4 supervisor habits that make DSPs want to stay. You can get it at iddleader.com/supervisor, and I think you'll find it highly valuable. There's even a checklist where they can the supervisors can assess, hey, am I doing this? Simple people skills that go such a long way in helping people feel known, valued, and welcomed, not just in the hiring journey, but also once they're there, because, of course, you want them to stick around. Well, until next time, here's to you, difference maker. Keep up the amazing work.